Hi, scholars. How are you doing? Today, I want to talk about one of the most important sections of your dissertation. We're jumping right in today. We are discussing the problem statement. Many doctoral students underestimate this section because it is only 300 to 500 words long. However, a strong problem statement can set the direction for your entire study. First, you must clearly explain what researchers already know about your topic. This goes back to having a good literature review. So you need to support your statements with current scholarly literature and citations. Your goal is to summarize the existing knowledge, not review individual studies in detail. And I discussed this in another video if you want to go back and watch that, and I'll also link it here. Second, identify the gap in the literature. Ask yourself these questions. So grab your notebook and start taking notes. What is still unknown? What population needs further study? What relationship or process requires additional investigation, i.e., additional leads that you may have from reading other articles? What construct has not been adequately explored? That is important. This will help feed your gap, which is what I'm about to talk about. So be specific so that your reader should immediately understand the gap in your study. This is important because if your reader does not understand the gap that you will be addressing in your study, they'll be lost and your paper won't even see the light of day. Third, verify that the gap truly exists. You want to fact check that. You want to validate that information. So you'll conduct a thorough literature review. That is your chapter 2. You'll search multiple databases using different keywords. You'll review your references from relevant articles and also continue searching until you stop finding new information. So once you get to that vantage point where you're like, you know what, there's no more information on this topic, that's when you transition to the next portion of your paper. And a weak or inaccurate research gap can also undermine your study before it even begins, because if it's not clearly defined, if this gap, if your chair can't clearly see what you're addressing, there will be issues. Next, justify why the gap matters. Simply stating that your research is limited is not enough. You need to go deeper. Explain why studying this issue has a theoretical, practical, empirical, or organizational significance. Help your reader understand the consequences of leaving the gap unaddressed. That is important. Another critical factor to consider is alignment. Alignment and flow, key. Your paper should read seamlessly and smoothly across each chapter and paragraphs. So your problem statement, your purpose statement, and your research questions, we mold all these together and they must work together seamlessly. Just think about it. You're merging these three things together and it needs to create this full picture for your reader. The problem statement identifies what needs to be studied. The word alone says it, right? Problem statement. You are addressing the problem within your paper of what your topic is on. The purpose statement explains what your study will do. There's a difference. The research questions guide how you will investigate the problem. See those three things? And like I said, I'll do a write-up on this so you could check that out on my Substack. Use consistent terminology to help you with that flow. This will also help throughout all three sections to maintain clarity and alignment. It all works together. This is an iterative process from chapter 1 to chapter 5. Finally, be persuasive. Your problem statement should convince readers that your study is necessary and worthy of investigation. So don't just lay up some talking points in a paragraph thinking that will cut the line. Don't. The stronger your literature review, the stronger your problem statement will become. Like I've already told you, I spent 3 semesters working on chapter 2, the literature review. Painful nights for me, but I got through it. Remember, you cannot identify what is unknown until you thoroughly understand what is already known. It's your X and your Y. What is known versus what is unknown about your topic. Stay focused, trust the process, and continue building your dissertation one section at a time. You've got this. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. Keep moving forward, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, and just keep at it. Don't quit. Honor the struggles, honor the pain, honor the sleepless nights. And I promise you, there is fulfillment. There is so much waiting for you on the other side of this. So don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. And remember, small wins today, big impact tomorrow. Until next time. Bye.